BJ's Raw Pet Food and Great Needs Trust are providing immediate relief and long-term solutions to those in dire need in the wake of Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. If you are interested in donating, please see more information about these organizations and how to donate in this episode's description or scan the QR code as shown. 5.56 Golf was built on the values of patriotism, hard work, and dedication from a veteran's perspective. But this brand isn't just for veterans. It's for every American and golfer who shares the same core values of resilience and commitment. Whether you're hitting the links or reflecting on what it means to serve, 5.56 Golf stands as a tribute to both our nation's military and the enduring spirit of the game. Let your inner red, white, and blue show. The Morgan Rose Hausbach Foundation was started upon the sudden loss of their daughter Morgan, who passed unexpectedly at 23 years old due to S1Ep8, or sudden unexpected death in epilepsy patients. The foundation has helped families who have been in similar situations, aiding in funeral expenses, epilepsy camps, scholarships, and with the expenses during the holidays. The foundation also helps raise awareness of S1Ep8 and epilepsy so other families have the resources available to mitigate the risks to S1Ep8 so others do not have to endure the sudden loss of their child or family member. We want to give a special shout out to the official jeweler of Mum Nation, Jewelry by Joseph. You can reach him at josephpizzo57@gmail.com and be sure to check out all of his posts featured on Mum Nation for 10% off of your order.
All right, well, welcome into another one for the Christmas season. Merry Christmas, by the way. You might notice we're not at the Mummy Museum. Tonight we're at the house of the Woodland String Band with Captain George Balzer. We got a couple guests with us tonight. We got George, maybe Chuck, who knows, he's never on time. We'll see if he gets here. But we have Denny Palandro, we have Kade Radcliffe, and maybe some other surprises from the Woodland String Band. Who knows who's going to be in here tonight? But it's going to be a really fun one. We're gearing up for New Year's time with the String Band Association and the brigades, but this one is all about the string bands tonight, so we're going to get into it with George a little bit and just have a good time. But before we get into any new content, we have some stuff to go over from the last episode, which was our John Barron episode. Really cool poll results on this one because we had our first 100% unanimous decision. So I'm going to throw it to Haley to get into that.
So brought to you by Jewelry by Joseph, the official jeweler of Mum Nation. The poll question last episode was, which John Barron first prize did you like? Household Havoc from 2014 or The Codfather from 2016? And everyone chimed in Household Havoc, 100%. So
I'll throw it to you because you're a captain. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think it makes sense. He was electric. No hate on Codfather. He was very good that year as well. But Household Havoc, he was awesome running around that whole theme, really creating the character. And that's something you see year after that and kind of built on from captains. And he was electric that year.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I obviously I voted, so I voted for the Havoc because nobody voted for the other one. I'm in the same camp as you. I think the Codfather was pretty cool. But I think the theme around him didn't have the same effect as the household thing. So I don't know if I just look at him differently because I think the household theme was better. I don't know, but I definitely agree with that. Bill, what were you going to say?
The whole Household Havoc show was great, but he stole the show that year. He really put on a really good show.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So what do we have coming up next?
For this episode, since we're in the winter season, getting ready, which first prize winner theme from Quaker City did you prefer? 1989's There's No Business Like Snow Business or 2017's Winter is Coming, which, Mike, you were actually a part of.
Yep, I was. But I don't know. I like both of them. So even though
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Make sure you vote, obviously, because we want to talk about it. But also make sure you comment on any of your other favorite Quaker themes, winter themes, Arctic, or what you're looking forward to, even for New Year's. Just sound off.
We're going to get into it with George in a second, but a couple sponsor mentions real quick.
Yeah, so we want to mention 5.56 Golf, as well as the Morgan Rose Hausbach Foundation and Jewelry by Joseph, as always. And then if you want to become a sponsor for an episode and donate to these causes and more, make sure you reach out to one of us three or reach out Mum Nation, as well as the Mummers Museum. We always want to thank them. We're not there tonight, but we were there earlier. And of course, if you want to become a member this Sunday, which is Soup Sunday, Hat Day, Kazoo Day, December 15th, make sure you stop by and renew your membership or join if you're not currently a member.
And sitting next to me is the captain of the Woodland String Band. He's been the captain for the last few years. In his short time, he's already finished twice in the top 4, which is pretty impressive against some of the other captains that are out there today. So, George, first off, thanks for coming and sitting with us tonight and joining in some of the fun.
Of course, I was really happy to be asked to be a part of this. It's a very exciting podcast, kind of mixing the two cultures of brigades and string bands, and you learn a lot of info watching these episodes. It's really cool to dive into the minds of these greats in the hobby.
Yeah, it's been really fun being a part of it, and to get more like Woodland specific for tonight, right? We want to talk about, you guys have been on a good run for quite a while now, and the last couple of years finishing in the top 5. I believe 2023 was 5th, 2024 up to 4th. Right, so what's the goal this year to take you guys maybe to that 3rd prize, or even higher than that? What have you been working on?
So, yeah, like you said, the goal is to always improve. That's the motto we've been pushing forever, right? Whether it's in show, music, myself trying to be out front and be the best captain I can be for the band. You mentioned the top 5. We've been in the top 5 for, I think it's been about 14 years. I think it's second to South Philly being in the top 5 run. So we've been on a good stretch, and we just want to keep that up. We're hoping, to just improve and get better. We're in a really good spot being in last in the parade. And, I think we're taking a good step in the right direction. Obviously, the cards fall with whatever the judges like more. But I think we've done a really good job to improve in the areas that we may have faltered in the last few. So I think hopefully, that improvement's coming. And you don't ever know where it's going to go.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you a similar question that when we spoke to Denny. You do have a similar run to South Philly where you were kind of figuring your way out, and then as soon as you hit it, you kind of hit it, and it never really stopped. What do you feel like there was a turning point? Like there was one thing that you kind of made it click?
Well, when you talk about the long run, we had some really good guys in charge in the Kerr brothers, and once I joined this band, we got 6 twice in a row. All of a sudden when we won, it's like they found the formula, which South Philly and Quaker, these guys have right now. But they had this formula and they stuck with it, and they made some modifications to it over the time. But that's what kind of kept us up there. Those guys had families, COVID happened, guys take a step back. Luckily, we've been able to still succeed and remain up there. And we're still finding our way with our new music director and drill director.
Right.
We've now been there a few years, but that's what we're now trying to build off of.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back from this past year, getting into 4th and reviewing judges' tapes and always going through the constructive criticism, what did you pull from that this past year that you're looking to?
I think we made a good step in the right direction in our drill. We might have taken a step back in show slightly, and I don't think it had one had to do with the other. It might have just been in terms of when you look at a cowboy theme versus a Polynesian theme, it might be a little tougher. And on top of that, it was our second. It wasn't even our top theme that year. We ended up getting denied. So we scrambled to put that together. And I like what we ended up doing, and I think it was a really good theme. It was 4th. It was a step in the right direction. But yeah, we did a good job with our drill. We turn around, like you said, we work off these judges' tapes. The only problem with that is the judges change year to year. They change categories. They swap out judges completely. And you might think, hey, I really like the way you set up your show coming up the middle or coming up the sides, and the next judge doesn't like that. They only like it when you come up the middle. They don't like it when you change the focus of the sides. They don't like the color blue. We've had judges tell us they don't like drums. Well, we're doing a Latin theme. How are you gonna do a Latin theme without drums? So at the end of the day, you take it with a grain of salt. You try to use that to improve. But at the end of the day, most of the people in charge have been in the hobby long enough to kind of see what is good and what needs to be worked on. And I mean, at the end of the day, there's stuff that the judges say that obviously, no matter who was doing that category, whether it's, hey, there was a lot of stagnant in your drill here, or hey, your props weren't doing a lot of movement or not a lot of changes in your backdrop. So there's certain things that you can key in on and definitely improve. And like I said, I think we're taking a big step in the right direction, hopefully, this year.
You switch judges every year?
Yeah, so every year, I believe it's 4 judges change.
Okay.
And on top of that, judges change sub-captions. So they might be general effect visual this year, and next year they're in just visual performance.
Okay.
Or they might be music playing, and the next year they're in general effect music. And they might have an opinion on your music playing, but they love the way you did your general effect music. You would never know because they're only judging one category.
Gotcha.
And you have no idea. It's all kind of like a secret. I'm sure yours is as well. where you don't know who's going to be where. They might tell you a couple of these judges are changing, but you don't know which one's which.
Gotcha. And are they in the same location? I remember before they used to be on the street, which drove me crazy.
Yeah, they would. I remember actually the year we won, I almost hit somebody with a spear because they were walking. One of the music judges was walking down into the show. But yeah, no, they've been up on a platform now for at least 10 years. This year, I believe they're a little lower on the platform. It might be like a 4 to 6 foot platform.
Okay.
So it'll be a little lower down to the street, but they still get that up top kind of camera view that you get on TV or you get from that judge's view cam that you'll see on YouTube.
Gotcha.
So obviously, you're stepping out with a new theme every single year, and you're taking the Pirates out this year. What is it with this theme that has you excited to get out there on the street this year, without giving too much away? But what is it that has you ready to go and pumped up for New Year's Day about this show?
I mean, you've done Pirates, right? You won.
I have,
you won with Pirates, and it is a very fun theme.
Yeah.
It's something, right? We've all watched Pirates of the Caribbean. There's so much around it growing up, and just in general, whether it's brigades or string bands, it's a very exciting theme. Music can be very powerful. There's a lot of different directions you can go with it, and I don't know. It's something I can remember being a kid in Quaker City, messing around with the chairs upstairs, making our own pirate shows on just singing music and making props out of it with some of the kids in Quaker being young. So this is a theme that I've always wanted to do. And once again, it wasn't our first option, but I'm very excited for this theme. We as soon as we got denied, I think it was one day, or we might have went right to this theme. We were circling the wagons, and it was something that was right there. We weren't sure if it was ready yet, but we put in so much work on this theme, and we're very excited.
I think you can tell when a club has fun doing a theme. So I'm interested to see how you guys pull it off. But
yeah, I was gonna say, so you were a dancer and now you're a captain, which also involves dancing and performance. How do you prepare? Is it different for you now in this role?
Yes and no. I still mentally kind of prepare the same way, right? I try to make everyone have the same mentality that I have as dancers. And it's, it starts with your footwork, then you're going to work in the hands, right? And then you have to get some kind of characterization in it. And that's where you get the energy. That's where you get, if it's dark music, you get whatever, if you're going to get creepy, or if it's light music, you're going to be smiling ear to ear. It's those little things that the judges can really relate to, because they always say it on these judges tapes. They want to see your face, and they don't get to see it with all the saxophone players, because a lot of them have wire clips and stuff. I know a lot of bands are going away from that, but they don't get to connect with a lot of your people like brigades. You do. You're seeing everyone's faces, but in the string bands they don't, and that's something they can relate to. And I try to push that big with the guys. Mentally, I just try to be as prepared as I can. We learned things a little bit earlier this year, and right now I probably know 90% of my stuff, or 85% of it, and I'm very excited. And every rehearsal I treat like it's the week of New Year's, and I got to go hard and give the guys what I can, so we can really see what's going on and see how it works. And if not, me, the choreographer, Chuck, will work together to change my part, so that I'm giving the band the best that I can give them and helping the show move along, because we have to work together at the end of the day if we want the band to succeed.
And you're probably in for a treat this year with Pirates. That's a fun character to really get into. Whatever you end up going with, I mean, just the music alone, I'm sure you're going to be really excited to perform to that.
Do you ever get concerned with being out too much versus not being out enough?
Yeah, so it's something we talk about year after year, and the judges make comments on it sometimes. I would say I'm probably out there more than often, and it's something that we've been trying to work on. It's not about being out there, not being out there. It's using people the right way when they're there, whether it's me, whether it's the dancers, whether it's a pit band, whether it's the drum section doing a drum solo and what we're doing to that drum solo. So it's about interacting with props. You mentioned Denny, right? Denny does a great job, and South Philly does a great job putting Denny in those situations to be able to use the props. And that's something we've been trying to work on. And you've seen it a couple years ago. I ripped the jail cell off our cowboy gear and stuff like that, try to blow up the bank. It's stuff like that, interacting with the show, that the judges really eat up. And the crowd loves it. It really makes for a good experience, and that's stuff we're trying to work on. So like I said, if I'm going to be out there a lot, make sure, I have something to do. And I'm not just dancing, right? Because, hey, you could be a great dancer. That's not what the show's about.
Right.
This isn't, it's not a dance competition. It's a mummer show. It's a string band show, and you want to get that point across of what's going to happen in the show. Yeah.
Well, one of the guys that George is going to be going up against is Denny, and we sat down with him to talk a little bit about his 2025 role. So take a look.
Ho, ho, ho!
All right, so Denny, thanks for coming down here. You were a really exciting guest to get. First prize band. It's fun to have you.
My pleasure to be here. You guys are doing a great job with this podcast. You really are. A lot of great information about mummers, and you're shedding positive light on mummers, which we really need right now. And I appreciate you guys. I listen to every new podcast.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So before we get into how was your holiday so far, Thanksgiving and all?
Holiday was nice, little small. Just my wife, myself, my mother-in-law, my daughter, and my granddaughters.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nice holiday.
So it's not quite Christmas yet, but we're in the Christmas season. And I'm just curious. So you did the Christmas theme this past year. So you're not tired of the Christmas spirit yet after like 12 months of Christmas imagery.
Last year we were playing Christmas music in February. I think we had sectionals in March, and we just kept going strong all the way through to New Year's Day.
And it's funny because it kind of comes full circle. Last year you got to enjoy the Christmas season leading up to a Christmas theme. Now you get to do all the Christmas parades in your Christmas gear. So it kind of comes all around. I always wondered that though, like how was that? Like when the theme first got picked and you knew that's the kind of stuff you were going to be playing, like what was the reaction of the band? Because again, you're playing it in the summer and it's like,
Right. Well, the way the music's written nowadays, I mean, the melodies aren't always as recognizable because you got a lot of runs with the alto saxes and the tenor saxes. But you can still hear the melody of the song in there, and especially with the Christmas tunes, they're so recognizable. But the modern day of writing and arranging for string bands has definitely changed the way you listen to it and what you hear. But it was, I never get tired of Christmas music. I love Christmas. I love Christmas songs. But yeah, we definitely had a full year of Christmas music last year.
Now, are you involved in the creative process at all as a captain?
As well, I'm not on the theme committee. We
have
a theme committee. It's very, very, very energetic, very young, very aggressive, and they're very talented.
Gotcha.
I was on the theme committee for several years, and I kind of just backed away. I think, to be honest with you, my ideas are kind of old school. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I was on the theme committee, I was on the theme committee here in South Philly for years. I was also on the theme committee back in my Freelander days. I would have to go to the free library on 21st and Parkway there to look stuff up, get encyclopedias out. Now these guys got their phones or YouTube and checking everything out. So they're more adept to doing it than I am. So I just kind of let them do their thing and back away. I just do whatever they tell me to do.
So you find out you're doing Christmas. You kind of have an idea of that. Does your mind, for your part in particular as captain, when you hear you're doing that theme, does it go right to a particular character? Like, did you already have, I'm definitely going to be this?
Well, when you first heard, hey, we're doing Christmas, naturally, my first reaction was the captain's going to be Santa Claus.
Right.
Oh boy, do I want to be Santa Claus? I don't know about that. But again, our theme committee is so creative, and nowadays with string bands, you can't just do a theme that's just one level. You need to kind of merge a couple themes in there to get, and especially our guys, they come up with these very creative ideas. Sometimes like, I didn't even know that was happening, and you look back as we're rehearsing and you see the props come together in the show. It's just, it really amazes me what these kids do. So to answer your question, I thought I'd be Santa Claus the first time when I, start talking to some of the guys, they started explaining it to me. They said, well, you're going to be the Grinch. I said, okay, that's different. But the whole theme was different. Christmas Bazaar was just a twist on Christmas and pulling ideas from all the different movies and things like that.
Do you normally have an input in your captain thing, or you just kind of like to do what they tell you?
Yeah, again, our creative team is so good at what they do, I don't interfere. But they definitely will ask me my opinion, or do you like this, or do you not like this, or do you have a different idea? But those guys just run with the ball, and I just kind of, hey, that's what you need me to do, that's what I'll do.
Like, as far as villain characters go, I guess you can call the Grinch kind of like a villainous character, right? And you've been sort of characters like that before. You did the cowboy theme where it was like a ghost dead cowboy. You done the Carousel thing was kind of a little bit creepy, so it was sort of like
the Zoltar character.
Yeah, and now you did the Grinch. Like, do you feel like you got something cornered on that like more villainousy kind of captain character?
I hope not. No, I think again our creative team, they come up with all these different ideas, and it's just not your normal string band theme that you would think of on the surface when you think, hey, you're doing cowboys, or you're doing this, or you're doing a circus. They just don't work like that. They come up with these brilliant ideas, I think, and the characters that go with it, and they have a knack for kind of building the captain into the routine that works for us. As opposed to me being out there being the show. No, I'm part of the show, and they do it brilliantly to merge it together.
So moving into next year, just a little bit, Haley made a good point on a couple episodes ago. I think it was on the Halloween episode that we did, that you just did a Christmas theme. Now you're almost swinging to Halloween, sort of, kind of, right? Yeah. So it's definitely a tonal shift, but are you any more or less excited about this theme than last year, or?
It's a very creative theme. It's a little on the darker side than compared to last year. Yeah, I mean, we got some great ideas. Again, it's not, people think, hey, we're doing Dracula. It's Dracula's castle. I'll kind of leave it at that.
Yeah.
But,
if anything, it's at least
exciting.
probably like a fresh feeling that you're going from something so light and happy to like something that's at least different, so you don't feel like you're doing the same thing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
This is definitely different than what we did last year.
Mm-hmm. So, again, you're kind of a little bit of a darker character this year, but take us through, you find out any year, doesn't matter what it is, you find out what your character is going to be, and then you kind of have to wrap your mind around that. What's your process? Let's use the Grinch, for example, because you just did that. So you find out that's what you are. Mm-hmm. What do you do to say, okay, well, I got to be the Grinch? So...
Yeah, okay. So they tell me your character's going to be the Grinch, and I kind of like, well, what are we looking at? What version of the Grinch are we looking at? Jim Carrey version? And they said, yeah, that's what we're doing. So I watched the movie, look for his characteristics, look for his mannerisms, and try to copy his facial expressions if I can, and just kind of take it from there. We did a Batman theme years ago, and I was the Joker. Same thing. Which Joker are we going with? The Jack Nicholson Joker. So right. I watched the Batman movie and watched Jack Nicholson and tried to emulate. Some of the things, I'm not an actor by no stretch of the imagination, but I tried to portray the character. I kind of look at what they did and try to get some of those.
So do you prefer, or do you maybe don't have a preference, but I'll ask you, do you prefer the character role play side versus the choreography? Do you like a mix of it? Like what's your personal style, do you feel like?
I think it works for me. The character thing works for me. Hey, I'm no spring chicken. There's a lot of great young captains out there, and you'll see one tonight coming in on your show. With a lot of energy and a lot of youth, and I'm one of the older, if not the oldest captain out there. Mm-hmm. So again, our team kind of works with that. They build me into a character that works with the theme, and we put it together, and the whole show just kind of meshes.
Nice. I think you actually more so than anybody. This may have come from you. I know it's been done before, but I think you kind of perfected it in the last few years. You are a vocal captain. You kind of either have lines in the show or kind of again, does that come from the creative team or just something you feel like you throw in there, or from the choreographer?
It comes from the creative team for sure. Yeah, they'll say, hey, say this here, say that there. My concern is always, are they going to hear it? So
yeah.
I have a pretty loud voice. I try to project, but naturally we can't use electronics. It's in our rules, but I try to project what it is. But the creative team puts the entire thing together, and basically I just tell me what to do, and I try to do it.
Yeah, because I actually like that personally. I feel like it adds something to the character. Plus, if you think about like what the captain's role is, right? It's supposed to direct the show and kind of draw the eye and stuff. And I think some of the lines that you say makes you understand first what the idea is, and then also too, it makes you feel like you're a little bit more like the character that you're playing, Yeah,
but again, my concern is, can they hear it? Because usually when we open up, I'm more than likely on top of a prop most years, so I'm kind of like behind the pit band and as far back from where the judges are. And my concern is, are they going to hear what I'm saying, or is it just going to kind of wash out into the crowd?
Yeah, because you always run the risk too, if you do it and they can't hear it, is it a knock to the score? Like you try to. It's almost like if you have a prop that doesn't work, right? It's the same thing. If you say something they can't hear it, it's
kind of to hurt for sure.
Yeah. So I guess you can't lose your voice before you. But so you might be the longest captain at this point, right? I think you might be.
Well, I have a very good friend of mine that calls me the dean of captains. So I think I am the longest tenured captain.
Is there still any nerves when you get up to the judges, or was there ever? Are you kind of calm guy?
Yeah, I mean, always. I always said, hey, I've been doing this for 51 years. This is my 51st year in mummery in string bands, and I always say when I lose that butterfly feeling or the nervous edge, maybe it's time to hang it up. But you still get that. I mean, you practice all year. The last couple of months, you're going heavy with the drill and the show, and then New Year's Day, we get to practice a few times on the street before we get into the judging area. When you get into that judging area, you see those TV lights and you see the judges looking at you. And the nerves and butterflies definitely get in there. But you put your mind out of that and just kind of focus and put the game face on and try to do your job.
I always felt like the little butterflies that kind of makes you more focused in a way. Yeah. Like you said, if you didn't have it, who cares, right?
So, I don't know. Maybe it could be a good thing, but again, in 51 years, I haven't experienced not having it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Feel like.
Now, you might not know the answer to this one yet, but when you feel like you're done with the captain, you fulfilled everything you want to do, you try to leave a couple years in there to go back to playing a little bit before.
I'm a saxophone player first. It's funny because when I became captain, I never really dreamed of being a captain. It kind of just happened in our organization where, I ran for the position and I won, and every year I got voted back in. I'm in my 18th year now, but I'm a saxophone player first.
Sure.
Even if we do band jobs, if we don't have enough guys for a particular job, I'll say to the music director, hey, you need me to play horn, I'll play horn, and put somebody else out there. So I mean, when I'm done with the captain role or when they're done with me, I think I have a few years left in me on the saxophone for sure.
That's awesome. And you're a heck of a sax player too, because I've heard you playing. Yeah, so I think they'd probably be happy to have you back in there. They probably don't know what to do because you're a great captain.
We got so many great young saxophone players. I don't know if I'd make a difference, to be honest with you.
So let's talk about a little something about back-to-back stuff, right? You technically are the last band to do it, to go back-to-back. You did it in 2020 and then No Parade, and then 2022. And then the last band to do it pre-gap year was Frailinger, I believe, was the last 2 years of their 8-year run, I think. So you're going for it again this year. But yourself is who you have to beat. So is it always harder following up a first prize or easier? How do you feel?
I personally don't think about that. I just think that, we put our best foot forward every year. And last year was last year. We celebrated. We had our serenade. It's over. It's time to concentrate on this year and focus on this year. So yeah, you would love to win back to back, but to be honest with you, I'm not even thinking about last year. Last year's kind of turned the page, and it's full force into this year. And hopefully the judges like what we're doing, because we're definitely we're putting on a good show.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's one of the themes that I'm most excited for, because I feel like South Philly does those kind of themes well, like the darker themes. You've done a couple of them the last few years, but honestly, you're probably one of the few bands that can pull off the light and the dark themes. You're pretty good at, I think, just anything fantastical and big and pageantry based. You're good at that kind of stuff.
We're in a good place right now. Band's in a really good place. We have a lot of excellent musicians, a lot of great members, and an unbelievable theme committee, and a lot of great ideas. And they just put it all together, and the band just comes through.
Now, I saw a video the other day on Facebook. It was you playing one of the Bee Gees song, The Tragedy. And to me, I don't know how you feel, but to me, when you first start seeing the videos come out, and at least in this era now on Facebook, that's when it starts feeling like, it's real. Yeah, it's here. And it sounded good. It sounded very good. So the band sounds really rehearsed and ready. And I know that music was an emphasis the last X amount of years with South Philly, picking up the pace and getting better and better and stronger in music.
Yeah, probably around the mid 2000s, like around 2006, 2007, we really start turning the page with music. Because I feel personally, we always put out a beautiful suit. We're fortunate enough that we can do that. Our prop guys are second to none. They'll build anything we ask them to build, and they put it to life from a drawing. Our theme committee, again, just comes up with these phenomenal ideas. But music, I always say it, music to me wins the parade.
Sure.
Even though, the scoring has changed and the way the judges now has changed over the years. But if the string band doesn't sound good, I don't think you have too much of a chance to win the other category.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I cut you off. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to circle back to the captain thing really quick, just because you do really get into these character roles. And this year, kind of reflecting on how, okay, maybe you would have gone with a very obvious choice last year, like Santa Claus. I think a lot of people are probably thinking a very obvious character this year. Do we have some surprises up your sleeve, or can we, how are you approaching whatever character you are this year?
As I said earlier, it's kind of a theme that is built around Dracula's castle. So the theme's more about the castle than it is Dracula.
Gotcha.
So it's,
okay. I like that.
Keep it there. Leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I'm curious to know, because I know clubs, brigades, string bands, they have different traditions. Do you have any captain traditions, like New Year's morning? Like, does the band know what you are ahead of time? Is there a suit reveal? Is there anything you do as captain?
Yeah, I mean, New Year's, everybody pretty much knows my character by now. Sometimes you have your costumes in time, sometimes you don't. And it's all up to the customer getting to us on time, and the illustrationist getting the drawings to the customer. It's a whole process. But if you're fortunate enough to have your costume for dress rehearsal, which is usually that week leading into the last week of December, then the band they get to see my costume. But more often than not, I should say, it's New Year's Day. They see the whole
I
thing
gotcha.
put together.
That's actually pretty different because some people are superstitious, like they don't want it to be seen before New Year's Day. But me, I would want to practice with it as much as I possibly.
That's how I feel. I want to know what I'm up against New Year's Day. I don't want to find out New Year's morning, hey, this thing's too heavy, or I can't move. I can't do the move that the choreographer gave me to move. Put the suit on. It's too cumbersome. So I would love to have it early to practice and maneuver with it and get the feel for what it's like.
Also, not the same with every club. Some bands, the captain gives out the prizes. Some the president, some whoever else, right? But you get to get the prize, right?
Yeah, I treasure that opportunity that the guys give me, that I get to announce the prize. It's a great thing to get up there and announce it, especially when you win.
Hey, can everybody's attention, please? To our families, thank you for your support throughout the year. To the marshals who are still here, thank you for busting your ass all day for this band. To my brothers, who I love, we're number one!
We get the way the String Bands, we get an email or text message when the prizes come out around 7 p.m. that night, and we go to a secluded area. Myself, or Jimmy Brown, our president, Jim Brown, his dad, and Jimmy's our show guy, and we go to a room, just the three of us, and that's our tradition. That it comes to my phone, we get the prize. We briefly talk about it for maybe 20 seconds because in this day and age people are texting each other.
Sure.
So I don't want the band to hear it from anyone but us. And then I come out to the band and make the announcement. And like I said, if it's a good one, it's a good night. If it's not so good, for a few minutes it's not so good. But then we have a party anyway.
Hey, you've been kind of fortunate as captain because you really haven't had too many. I mean, they were all pretty good.
Yeah, we haven't been below fourth since I've been captain, so we have been fortunate.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. Now, what's the hard? Let's say you won first prize, right? What's the hardest thing in that moment of giving the speech? Trying to look even when you come in.
Try not to give it away because I kind of like in our clubhouse. It's maybe about a 30-yard walk from where we're secluded to when we come out to make the announcement. So that 30-yard walk, and everybody's trying to read my face. They tell me all the time, well, I knew. I said, I don't know. So I try to disguise it, whether it's good or bad, and then get up there and make the announcement. And then boom, hopefully eruption bursts out, and the guys have a good time with it.
Now, South Philly, I know, is a pretty big family band.
Yeah.
And I saw you just did the kids' Christmas party. You guys played at it and all that kind of stuff. How do you get the families involved for New Year's morning? Do you play for them, or what do you guys do?
Well, yeah, the families come up. Some of them help out with the makeup. Some of the wives and the girlfriends will help out with doing the makeup. And nowadays we're pretty much wearing masks every year, so it's just undercover makeup. So not too much. It's not too intricate, the makeup part. But they're down to help. They'll help with the food. They'll help with the cleanup of the club once we hit the street and getting it ready for when we come back. So they're all down there and participating. They come down on the street and watch us practice and cheer us on, and then meet back at the club after the parade and wait for the results and celebrate the day.
Nice. Now I need you to put something to bed for me.
Sure.
Because you always hear, right? South Philly is not on 2nd Street, but the party is not any less New Year's night, right?
No. Our club's rocking.
Yeah.
Again, whether win or lose, especially if we win. But we kind of we're off the beaten track. We're down there at 28th and Passyunk, and there's a lot of parking down there, which is a good thing. But we party pretty hard.
That's awesome, and you guys do a great job because I've been on the receiving end of it. When if you don't get the top prize, you come and give the trophy, even though you're not on 2nd Street. You come all the way down, and you give the trophy to the club that did win.
That's a tradition in the string band division, and we honor it, and definitely it's one of the traditions I really love. That hey, first prize band bring first prize captain, first prize band. If you don't win that year, you bring the trophy to the award winners and you congratulate them. So that's a neat tradition we have, and I like that.
Now we have some fun trivia questions for you, right? Before we get to them, I don't mean to like circle all the way back, but kind of just to bring everything together. You guys have been on a great run for, over 20 years, right? At this point, right? Just about.
Okay. We haven't been out of the top 4 since probably 2006, 2005, and that ballpark. And over the last we've won 5 out of the last 8 years. So yeah, we're in a groove right now. We really are.
If you had to try to pinpoint it on the spot, like what do you think was what was the turning point and just how you were able to keep that?
I think again, I go back to music. I think we picked up some great musicians. First, our internal, our kids had really came of age and they became great musicians.
Right.
You know, in the early 2000s, they were still learning, but now they develop into really good musicians. A lot of them are schooled. They go to college for music. And then we had an influx of membership. Naturally, as you start winning, people join your band. We had some members come over from various bands and excellent musicians, and they just really kind of put us over the top as far as being competitive with the music end.
Would you say almost as, for the most part, you've kept that same core team of creatives and all that kind of stuff together from the beginning?
Yeah, we have rarely do we have changes in our leadership in the band. Pretty much the officers stay the same. The theme committee pretty much stays the same, and it works. I mean, our chemistry is just, we got a good mix of younger guys, middle-aged guys, and older guys that just really keep it meshed together, and it just works for us. And
That's
we're fortunate that it's been working in our favor.
Nice. Well, it's fun to see a group of good people do good. So it's nice. But let's have a little fun. Little holiday trivia. So we got a couple trivia questions for you, just to have a good time for the holidays. We like to play games around the holidays in my family, so we're gonna extend it to the episode here. So everything is Grinch based.
Oh boy!
Since you're the Grinch, right? So you want to give them the first one. I think we're gonna start easy and then get a little bit harder. And I you touched on this one earlier, so you should know this answer. But just to give you a little heads up, you don't have to know anything off the top of your head. They're all either multiple choice or true or false.
Great.
So you have an option. So
There we go.
Any guess is a good guess. So give him the first one. What's he got?
Question 1. Aside from you, who played the other live-action Grinch? Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, or Vince Vaughn?
Jim Carrey.
I would have been really, really sad if you got that one.
I think I watched it about 25 times last year.
All right. So you said you're a fan of Christmas music, right?
Yeah.
So you got B101 on the car?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. So maybe you'll get this one then. So according to the song, "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," the Grinch's heart is full of what? Unwashed socks, gunk, rotten eggs, or garlic?
Unwashed socks.
You are correct. It is unwashed socks. So you want to give him the next one?
Yeah. True or false? The Grinch's dog is named Max.
True.
Very true.
We had Max in
Yeah.
That's why we put
same.
it. That's why we put it in there. All right. So you're doing a horror theme this year, some kind of spooky, darker theme, right? So there's actually, if you're a fan of the movie, which I'm sure you are, there's a little bit of horror ties to the Grinch because the original voice was Boris Karloff, who also played what famous horror character? Is it Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, or the Invisible Man?
Dracula.
Oh,
No?
He did not get. We'll give one more guess.
Boris Karloff. Frankenstein?
Yes, he played Frankenstein. And if you look him up on Google, you'll just see his face and be like, oh yeah. I thought that might trick you up because the Dracula, but yep, there you go. So following.
Final question. For all of our viewers, the Mummers Parade this year is on MeTV and WFMZ 69 for the outdoor judging portion, as well as ABC's Localish for the Fancy Brigades. However, which TV network did The Grinch originally air on? ABC, CBS, or NBC?
Boy. I'm going to guess at this one. I'm going to say NBC. No?
One more guess.
ABC.
Oh, CBS.
CBS.
That's because you weren't born yet. When I forgot.
I think I was born before.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for playing along as a good sport. Well, before we wrap up, we can't go without talking about that great foundation that you run. We love that we were able to give a little back through the show, but
we greatly appreciate your generosity with that. It meant a lot to us.
Oh,
Really.
absolutely. It felt good to give back to it. But you guys do some great stuff throughout. You have some events coming up in the spring, which we're not too far away from, right? So
Yeah, we have about 2 events a year. We do a banquet this year. It's on February 21st at the Waterfall Room down on Water Street off of Snyder Avenue. Visit our website, PalantroFerryFoundation.org, and you can get all the information on there. We love the support. We're selling merchandise, T-shirts, hoodies. We have coffee mugs and different things like that. And everything we get back, we give back.
Mhm.
So we're a 501c3, so your donations are tax deductible. We're a nonprofit. And yeah, we do the banquet, and we also do a bingo night. That's usually around May in the springtime. We'll be advertising that, and again, any support we can get for that foundation, we truly appreciate it, and we just love to give back to the Mummers community who was there for us during our darkest times.
Oh, awesome. Well, it's never too early to mark your calendars for the bingo event coming up in May. If you do need any help with anything with the foundation, let us know. We'll try to do whatever we can.
We appreciate that.
And we'll put the link to the website in the description for people to click on. So if they want to visit and donate anything or whatever, then they'll be able to get some donations in for the Christmas season and all that kind of
And
stuff.
I come bearing gifts for you guys. For you, and Billy's not here tonight, but I got you guys a T-shirt for your foundation.
Awesome.
That's so sure.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Haley's special. She gets the hoodie.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. We also got a coffee mug.
Oh,
for the
perfect.
Foundation. A little koozie for your
Nice.
for your soda cans.
That's awesome. Very awesome.
And these we gave out
I'm
at our
putting
last
this
bank on our
right
fifth.
here.
Last year was our 5th anniversary, and we had these wine glasses.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
I
awesome.
got one of those for each of you, and we appreciate
So
it.
very
Wow,
nice.
that's really awesome. Thank you very
means
much.
a lot to us.
Thank you very much. That will forever be on the table at the Word on the Street, so everybody can see it all the time.
There we go.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming down. And I know
thanks
it's a
for having me.
busy time of year to take time out and come
Hey,
down. So.
you guys are doing a great job. As I said earlier, the positive publicity for Mummers is incredible. We really need it. The tradition really needs it. We need to stay alive. And you guys are just, I've enjoyed every episode.
Oh,
I'm
thank
learning things about the brigades. I'm learning things about the wenches and Froggy Car. And every episode was very interesting and entertaining. You guys are really doing a great job.
I appreciate it.
Keeping Mummery alive. So
Thank you very much.
For that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Well, if I don't see you, Merry Christmas
Merry
and thanks
Christmas.
for coming down. Good
Thanks
luck
for
on New
having us,
Year's.
Haley.
Merry Christmas and good
Merry
luck.
Christmas. Good luck to you guys as well.
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thanks to Denny for coming out. That was awesome sitting down talking to him, and I'm really excited to see their show and again what he does with his role and his character for this year. And also thanks to George from Woodland, but now subbed out we got the drill director, right, of Woodland sitting next to me, Mr. Chuck Graser Jr., the best Graser there is.
I appreciate that, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We've been waiting to do this for a while. We talked about it a little while ago, and then you were mad because John Barron beat you first, and then we said we'll have you on after.
I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, right. So earlier when we were talking to George to get into it, right? We mentioned the judges' tapes, and you've held different positions in string bands and in the bands and stuff, but right now you're the drill director. So, with the tapes, right? How do you, as a position holder, listen to them and kind of utilize them to the best of your ability to grow?
So for me, I try to listen to them at home by myself, just take notes before I meet with the theme committee, and we listen to them and take notes as a theme committee, and then discuss each section, the costume, the music, the show, the props, things like that. But for me, sitting down listening to them on my own and blocking out the music and just listening to their comments, some of them are actually pretty tough to take. I don't think there's any judges' tapes where they're like, "This was great, that was great, way to go, like that was superb." Like, they don't use words like that, and they don't want to put you down, but they want to make sure that this is what I saw, this is what I liked, I didn't like, and it's not always happy. 2 years ago, my first year as drill master, I took a beating from 2 judges, and I made sure that I took their notes and incorporated everything that they talked about from 23 into 2024 with our Polynesian theme, and it worked. The scores went up, our prize went up, and it seemed to work. Again, it's just taking notes, taking what they say with a grain of salt, and implementing it into the following year's show the best that you can. Obviously, the show changes because the theme changes, the music changes, and their opinion on what you did changes. So from one year to the next, it was basically just, hey, watch the footwork. These 2 guys were off by a 1 beat, or I see too much space in the back where it could have been filled in with a prop. So yeah, then again, you go back to the drawing board and you got to say, okay, well, they want more props. They don't want to see gaps. They want things to come through the center, not from the sides. So again, just make notes, and I take them with me to the following year's meetings when we start talking about theme and show design and what we're going to portray and what we're going to do. And I say, okay, this is what they saw. This is what they liked, they didn't like. and this is how I'm going to fix it.
Where is your cutoff between taking what they say and saying this is a piece of advice to listen to, and then trusting your gut and going with maybe something they didn't mention, or maybe against something they say because you maybe think it's the right thing for the show?
So with that, I generally take about 90% of what they say, and I put it into my notes, and I want to fix that. I know the judges change in each category from year to year, so one judge from 23 may have not have liked what we did, but the judge in 24 did, even if I did the same thing, same move, same step, same formation. One hated it, the other one was like, oh wow, that was really cool and creative, here's your points. The other 10% is, I'll be honest with you, it's me watching what is winning and incorporating that into our show and saying, okay, well, this is working for them, obviously. We haven't done this. I'm going to try it. It may not work for us. It may not work for the theme, but I tried it. I went out on a limb. I tried something new. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I know not to use it again.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of similarly, when you're entering a creative leadership role for the first time, how do you know what to keep or toss, even if it's been something that, say, Woodland has done for some time?
So when it comes to the show, and that's a great question, I actually refer to our music director, AJ Ford III, and my presentation committee, Steve Buchnowski Sr. and George Balzer. And we'll sit there and we'll watch the tapes and we'll say, okay, well, this is working. This isn't working. We can get to this formation, but we may have to add 4 counts. So it's great to have guys like them in my back pocket to use, because they've been around a lot longer than I have. They've been in winning bands. They've been drill masters. They've been assistant drill masters. So they know what it takes to win. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to do. So having a creative team like that behind me and having their support, it really does help.
Now, do you feel like you've grown into your own style so far?
Honestly, no, I haven't found a style. I grew up watching drill masters like Mike Rare, Tommy King, Charlie Rhodes, and they were great at what they did. They were great at their craft. They earned a lot of top prizes, and they were the best in my book, hands down. For me now, I'm going up against guys like Jimmy Brown at South Philly, Charlie at Quaker City, Jeff Crompton at Avalon. Bobby Thiel's a good friend of mine down at Frowninger, who's in his second year. We all want to win. We all are friends with each other 364 days a year, but obviously that day we're going out to do the best we can and take that trophy. They all are the best at it when it comes to drilling their bands now. I'm still trying to find my style, and I feel like maybe this year I finally hit that point. We'll see. I'm excited about what I did on paper, what I taught the band. They look really good. I'm very excited to see the outcome.
That's exciting.
And knowing somebody like you, there's got to be a little bit of a factor of doing the job where you just like tap in the bum freak instinct where you're like, this is going to work. I feel like this is going to be good. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. So I'll sit home and I'll watch the recordings from Tuesday, Sunday over and over and over again, and just smack my leg. I'm like, yeah. My wife's like, what's going on over here? You all right? And I'm like, no, that looked really cool. She's like, what did? I'm like, oh, I'm watching the tape from Sunday. She's like, oh, I don't care. and I'm like, no. She goes, they've done it, I don't know how many times to this point. I'm like, yeah, but everybody did it and they hit it on time and it was just perfect. And I'm excited because I said I wasn't sure it was going to work. And there's about 3 or 4 moments in the show that I can get excited about it and like jump off to my chair or off the couch. And I'm like, oh my God, even when I'm in front of the band, I'm like smacking my hands go up in the air. I'm like fist pumping because it's just exciting when it all comes together and you see what you did on paper come to life in front of you. And there's just those moments where I'm like, okay, this is really cool. This is going to work. I like that. And we have quite a bit of that this year. So again, super excited. You know me, Mike, I'm a freak.
Yeah,
I've been watching Mums for longer than I've been in Mums. And so
now not only are you watching all the old tapes, you're watching the tapes that haven't even happened yet because you're watching all the
yeah, exactly.
And that was actually perfect leading into my next point that I had noted down. So Pirates, it can be considered a tough theme because it's been done so many times. But some might say that makes it easy because there's a lot of reference material. But I'm curious, without giving too much away, what about this show like sold you on this was the right choice for you guys to do this year? Was there ever one factor that you were like, you know what, this is the theme?
Well, to be honest, and I was talking to Billy when I got here about this. It wasn't our first choice. We obviously, we had to go back to the drawing board a couple of times. And when my brother Ryan came in and my uncle Tommy, and they were like, yo, we got a really cool pirate theme. I'm like, yeah, we did it once before. It didn't quite work out in our favor. It's just been done and done to death. Like, how do we make it different? And we sat down and we talked about pirates. And we said, okay, you're alive or you're dead. What way are we going? And I'll be honest with you, without giving too much away, it's neither.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that, because it's going to be. It's not going to be what people think. That's for sure.
Okay.
It's good. It's a great show, great music, upbeat, a lot of props, a lot of gimmicks.
You like your spot?
I love our spot, and for me, I've never marched last. I marched latest I think I went up was 15 when there were 16 bands. Last time Woodland went up last, 2012. Took home the first prize for their first time, and unfortunately I was not in costume that year. So looking forward to this one. I'm hoping for the same outcome. I know the guys are hungry for another one, and we've been in the top 4 consistently since 2012. So definitely something that we're working hard towards. Again, we know there's a lot of bands out there that are very talented, and the shows have gotten bigger, the costumes have gotten more elaborate, the music's gotten more difficult, and everybody's trying to stay in that top 4, top 5, and other bands that haven't been that lucky are trying to move into the top 4, top 5. So again, I just tell our guys, go out there, have fun, you know what you have to do, whatever happens, just enjoy the day. And then, yeah, so pirates, not your typical pirates, going to be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Well, 3 of the 4 people at this table have done pirates, because you were in the Stars one, right? And you were dead, right?
Dead.
So was I. So, and it was one of my favorite. What were your thoughts on? Did you like that?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I just think it's fun. So
it doesn't pop in the brigades, and we were just talking about that.
Not as much as it does. I feel like it's an awesome string band theme, but it's not as good of a brigade theme for sure. So
now you mentioned tapes. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Did the Graser boys get together and have a tape night?
We get together quite a bit and have tape night. It's funny because my brother Sean just told me, he's like, yo, we got to get together for mums and brews, and then we always cap off the night with watching the episode of Strut. That has become like a Graser household
sounds like a great night.
favorite. We'll watch a couple years. We'll go through the string bands. We'll watch the brigades. We'll have some beer with some pizza, and then the night caps off with watching Strut, because again, that's become a Graser household favorite. Kyle will sit here and have a conversation about Strut with you for hours. I think our wives get annoyed that we watch it and we quote it as we're watching it.
Yeah.
We quote it after we're done watching it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we definitely have tape night. You have to come over for tape night.
I would love to.
We'll tell my mom to stay home.
The episode from tape night.
Do it after.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do a live tape night episode.
I know you have to know who's having fun too, right?
We do.
That one. That's a classic.
I've actually watched yours.
Oh yeah. You're the one that shared it. That
I love that
originally. So I made the documentary for school. I think I told you about it when I was in Drexel.
You got to play that.
And it randomly got shared like one time and started blowing up. It was because it was him. He was the one that shared it. And then all that hat day, I was walking up and down 2nd Street and they're like, yo, are you that guy from that video? I was like, yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, see, there you go.
Now, do you used to have a big rivalry?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So you got, I'm here with my brother Ryan. Justin is in South Philly. Sean's in Quaker City. So you got, my dad's in South Philly. So you have all of us that are like button heads, like, okay, well, we're going to win. No, we're going to win. Well, we have this and we have that. And we have tricks up our sleeve. And then they don't ever ask me because they think I'm like the low man on the totem pole when it comes to those 3 bands. And I like that nobody asks or nobody cares. My mom the other day, she goes, so what do you think you guys are going to, how you guys going to do? What do you think you're going to finish? I'm like, Mom, wherever we finish. I said, I love that nobody talks about Woodland. Nobody cares enough to talk about Woodland. I said, and then we show up and they're like, oh my God, you see
Silent assassins.
That's it. Whatever happens, happens. And I told her, she goes, I said, I walk out these doors New Year's morning with the mentality that I'm going to win the parade, and whatever happens, happens. I can only control what I do and how our band performs. I can't control what the judges think.
Right.
Again, are they going to love Pirates? Are they going to love Dracula's Castle? Are they going to love,
I hope they hate the Enchanted Forest.
Banana Cabana, which I love their theme title, by the way. I think
that was pretty cool.
If Custer's Last Stand was still a thing, they would certainly do that.
I know. I told George I'm looking forward to seeing it because I do really like Pirates, and some of the comments that you guys have made. I'm interested in seeing what you guys got because it seems like it's going to be pretty cool.
It's going to be very cool. And like I said, people, they hear Pirates, they're like, oh, okay, Pirates. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to do it. Avalon just did it. Jersey just did it. But again, we have a really great, strong creative team here. And everybody sat down and just put their heads together and came up with idea after idea after idea on how to make it different. And it's hard. I know George said earlier, when you think Pirates, it's hard to do because it's been done to death.
Yeah.
Now, people think, oh, you can only do it 2 ways. Yeah, well, we came up with a third way. And I don't think anybody's expecting to see what we're going to put on the street.
I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing it. But we sat down with another guy who's also trying to find his style and hone his craft and got lucky enough to pop a #1 his first time around. So Kade Radcliffe from Uptown String Band sat down with us, chatted a little bit about mums and what's coming up with Uptown in 2025. Take a look.
Ho, ho, ho!
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming down, Kade. It's great to have you here finally. We got
Happy
the first prize captain to finish off the year. So, I mean, hey, man, can't go wrong with that.
We'll find out. Find out real soon.
Well, you're a vet. You did the Jersey one, right? The podcast for them. So
I did.
There you go. You're a regular. You're making the media tour.
Basically a veteran at this point. Podcast veteran.
That's awesome.
Actually, before we jump into it, let's say, how was your holiday? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was, a lot of food, a lot of family. Hectic. I kind of was wishing it would slow down a little bit. You know how this time of year is, but you got to run around for the family a little bit too. So I had a great holiday.
Nice.
Good.
Did you at least take one day not to think about the theme?
No breaks from here on out.
That is true.
So I was going to say, we were talking about veterans already. So you're already a veteran on podcast, but you're also now a veteran captain, right? Your first year. Technically, right? So you have that under your belt now. Going into the holiday season, it's already hectic. I mean, there's no turning any of this off, but how are you feeling now with the holidays, but a little bit more comfortable with your role?
I would say my role's a little different this year than last year. I have a bit more to focus on with the ways of building and kind of small details getting together. For the band last year, I was really able to focus on, I built, I helped build, but we had a couple other builders last year. One in specific, Paul Buffington. He's like a master builder for us, kind of. He's been working in Penn State this year, so he hasn't been able to help us. I pick up the slack, and kind of getting to the point of the year where people are like, okay, did you take care of this yet? You take care of this yet? You take care of this? And it's like, nope, thank you for reminding me. Nope, not yet. So it's a little overwhelming, but I love the season. I love being busy. I love having stuff to do, stuff to build, working towards the show. So busy, overwhelming, but I'm here for it.
And you have the energy on your side because you're one of the younger captains too. So
yeah, well, I was one of the younger captains. I think they might all be moving closer to my age now. I don't know where I land in the average, but yeah, the energy helps.
That's good. So actually, how did you get your start in Uptown?
Well, I'm third generation. My grandfather joined Harrogate however long ago. I'm not sure if it was the 70s or the 80s or when. And then my dad marched with Harrogate in 83, I'm pretty sure. He was 11. So, just being born into it as part of my DNA, I didn't really have a choice. 2011, 2012, I started helping glitter props and stuff. I was like 10, and then I marshaled 2012. I went up, the old parade route. And then 2013, we did a cop year, and I learned bass real quick in mum season. That's a different story if we want to get into it. But got a suit that year, which my dad didn't think was going to happen. So my first year marching was 2013. And then I marched as bass, for a decade, for 10 years. And then my 11th year was captain.
Did I understand that right? You said you learned it during mum season that year?
Yeah, I took my first lesson around, and I mean, I was 11 years old playing a bass, and we needed a bass at the time, or we needed suit filled, whatever the case. It's not like I was a master.
Sure.
But I took my first lesson in either late August or early September or something. I took a couple lessons, and then it was just like YouTube, Google, just playing music, and then I got the mum book, and then I learned the. There's this one rehearsal my dad always talks about, and it must have been December, and the whole band was warming up in a circle. We knew our whole routine, so it was that deep into mum season. I don't know exactly when, and there were no other bottoms. And my dad was sick as a dog, actually, so he was on the other side of the room, slumped in a chair, dying, and it was just me, 11-year-old little boy, playing the bass. And he always talks about how I like kind of held down the bottom sound for that beginning of the rehearsal. So. Yeah, it was late in mum season, but I picked it up and ran with it.
It's pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
So with your role as captain, I just want to hear a little bit of your thoughts. Do you feel like there's more pressure leading up to your first year, or more so this year, kind of defending kind of your role and everything from last?
Yeah, I would say there's different pressures because last year I had confidence and I knew I would do a pretty good job. I didn't really care about where I placed. So that's a different feeling, you know. I still don't care if the band has a good day and a good show. I don't care. But I was like, if I got 12th last year, I was like, whatever, you know. I'm just here, happy to do it. So this year, there's definitely more pressure in the way of, defending the title, proving that it wasn't a fluke, and proving that Uptown's on the up and up, and because we think we are, and we want to keep it rolling. But I have less pressure in the way of kind of getting the band on my back because 22 years old. I wasn't in the band for too long, and I was a kid for most of it. So and the band was always super supportive of me since I started, but that was really the pressure for me last year, was having the band trust me and me trust the band both ways. So, the pressure is there this year, it's just different from last year.
Was there any point, even if it was like up to New Year's Day, where you thought, you know what, like I feel pretty confident, maybe I could do pretty good?
Yeah, so there were a couple ones. There's I was actually talking to our publicity director today. He knew I was going on the podcast. We went over a couple stories, and he was like, do you remember a few weeks before last New Year's, we were talking about it and kind of joked about, because I was getting kind of good. I knew my dance and stuff, and we made a joke about Jimmy Good having to bring the trophy up to, up to Parkland, up to Canada, and I actually didn't even know at that point that there was a separate captain's trophy. So that night I found out that there was even a trophy for me to win, and then it ended up happening. So, and then New Year's Day, people were asking me, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? And a couple of run-throughs before City Hall, I said once, I didn't want to talk too highly and jinx myself, but I said, I think I can win. I think there's a chance I can win. So.
That's pretty cool.
But I was ready to get 12th, too. You never know. I didn't feel good, honestly, about the performance New Year's Day, mostly because it was a blackout. And, you have a really good rehearsal, and it's like, oh, that was awesome. I rocked. But
can you do it again when it matters?
Exactly. Or did I do it? Like, I just blacked out for 4.5 minutes. What happened?
When you were done, like, knee-jerk reaction, did you think that maybe some of the times you did it before the judges might have been the better one than the judge?
Totally.
Yeah.
When I came down the steps this year in the judging area, I actually, just a couple seconds into the routine, I hit my hat on one of our first altos back pieces, and I was like, oh, I thought it was right up front. I thought I broke the back piece. I thought I was like, oh no, right away. So I thought I had better ones, but that one was good enough.
Apparently, there you go. Can't complain.
Now, anything that you learned from last year, good or bad experiences, how are you implementing that this year?
A big thing I learned last year is practice makes perfect. It's simple, but it's true. Like, I just practiced a million times, and it ended up being good. Me being a young guy, going from the back line as a bass player, frontline captain, 22, 23 years old, honestly, I'm a knucklehead. And one thing I definitely learned last year, and I'm still learning this year, and it's something I have to keep improving upon if I'm going to be a leader and have people, trust me and stuff, is I can't be as much of a knucklehead. Like, people will take notice, not that I do anything terrible, but I gotta, pay a little more attention to that sort of stuff. That's something I learned.
Yeah, you actually made a pretty good point too. Like, you as a bass player, usually towards the back with the bigger horns, you come up for the banjo solo. I never thought about this until right this second, but this year as captain, was that like the most you moved in a drill out of any year you went up so far?
Okay, so 2014, my second year marching, I played bass and I danced. I danced for the first half of the routine, and at a little snippet that I don't know if anybody's ever noticed because it's kind of hidden in the back. In the judging area performance, I'm coming up stage right, coming up the side behind the captain, and I go into the band, and I fall flat on my face. We had these big shoebox like things on our feet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously captain was more moving than that, but I did dance that year, and it went terribly. And other than that, I always put the energy in my bass. We were always jumping around and stuff, trying to show me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it definitely was the most movement so far, other than hitting the ground.
Speaking of movement, you are a pretty choreography heavy captain. So we had Denny earlier tonight, and he's more character role play. Like, how do you feel that your skills in choreography help you? Is that something that makes your captain performance special to you?
I think it's a combination of both. I think I have the ability to dance for 4.5 minutes. If I wanted to, and I could just be in front of the band doing jumps and spins for the whole time if I wanted to, but I think there's a very crucial part to being captain and to winning as captain. I mean, I've only done it once, so I could be wrong, but I think it has to be the right balance of the character and the you know, I'm not the best dancer in the band, I'm the captain. So, you know, I get a lot of choreography. Riley is our amazing choreographer. Mine specifically, Dana and Riley both do our dancing, but Riley does my choreography specifically, and she gives me basically 4.5 minutes of choreography, and then she's like, oh, you don't like that. You're gonna change that. Oh, you're gonna change that. Or my dad, he always has his opinions on character moments. He's like, no, you got to slow down here, and she's always like, oh, Ryan's not gonna like that. Ryan's gonna change that. So. We actually have a couple moments in the past show and in this show that I call speaking of the legend, Denny Palandro, I call them Denny moments because they're necessary. You know, somebody's got to slow down, present the band, you know. So I think they're both important aspects.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm curious now, too. Like, was there any point in last year that you got any positive reinforcement from either Dana or Riley, even your dad, where you thought, oh, maybe I'm doing better than I thought I was?
I mean, it's hard to say because people always tell you you're doing good, you know, and I would say my dad is the most honest with me and the most creative too. Like, he has the most specific ideas for me, but he'll be like, oh, I don't like that. He's like, you know, it's good, but I don't like that. But I mean, they're all critical, really. Yeah, they're all critical and they're all positive. So sometimes I kind of gotta like look for myself. Like, do I like this? Does it feel comfortable? Do I think it goes with the show? It's a combination of a bunch of opinions.
Yeah, and your dad was captain, right? So I mean, he can kind of touch on things that might be good or not. I mean, it's a good person to listen to.
Yeah, well, I mean, he plays from 12th up to 4th, so he knows the whole way, and he really is a huge part to my show. We got off work a little early today, and we took a break, and just me and him, we put our routine up so far on the TV. We have like YouTube. We put it on the TV, and we just kind of broke down my dance, changed a couple things here and there, perfected, and my dad is huge for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. Having the band buy into you and really relish in the confidence that you have as captain is great. But what is your approach and your goal for the band this year?
Just do better than we did last year. I mean, we have an amazing theme committee. Over the past 2 years, I've been involved in the theme committee for maybe 7 years, 6 or 7 years now. I'm not sure exactly, but the past 2 years has been the most efficient, like well-oiled machine theme committee, and I feel like we put a really good show forward for the band. So getting the band to buy in, to practice, show up to practice, is really the main goals, and I think everybody knows it. Like, everybody's been showing up this year. Morale is good. Practices are I mean, we always feel good at the end of practices. So really just to do better than last year, and I think we know that. I think if you watch us at the Serenade, I could be biased, but if you watch us at the Serenade this year versus New Year's Day versus the Serenade last year, I just think there's steady improvement. And I think getting a taste of winning and seeing that we really can do it, we want to break that top 5. I think the band is bought in this year on doing better than last year.
Now, I want to get into the Serenade in a second, but before that, I just want to ask, there's always seems to be positivity around Uptown. A lot of people have really good things to say about the band, which is good. It's positive reinforcement, but is it hard sometimes to like kind of check that and say, like, we still have work to do? Does it get difficult at all?
It can actually be hard to look at the band, like look at ourselves the other way, because we often get really excited and then disappointed, like Safari year, we had a good show. There were things we could have done better, and we had missing suits and whatnot. So, whatever. When we got 9th place, we were not expecting that. We were disappointed. So going into this candy year, everybody kind of still has that pessimistic view, right? So I made a bet with a couple people in the band. It was like $100 here, $200 here, on whether or not we were going to get 6th place or worse. And we got 6th place, and I got everybody paid me my few $100 on New Year's Day. But it's actually hard to get our band to look at us and be like, oh, this is really something. We're really putting something together here, But I think it's good. I think we're always trying to get that last 10% out of every part. So I would say we have the opposite issue. We got good morale, but we're very critical of ourselves because we know how much we have to improve to get the top 5, let alone even touch 1, 2, 3. So
now I want to talk about the Serenade. You may not have gotten a first prize band yet, but you definitely win first prize of the Serenade every year. There's something about,
so they say,
you guys are the best serenaders ever. Like, do you just enjoy doing that? Like, what is the story behind those little things you put together for the Serenade? I love it.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely it. Is we just enjoy taking the extra step. It's a good day for our band, getting a lot of people together, and we like being the best at something, and maybe we don't sound the best on the Serenade. Maybe not everybody thinks that we're the best on the Serenade, but we like having something to be proud of. And so when it comes to the Serenade, we really crack down. We come up with something creative, music, usually music drill, whatever. And we just want to be entertaining. We want to be proud. And that's really what it's about for the Serenade.
Yeah, I think it's good practice, too, because it's the off season. It's a little something to be creative.
Great practice. It gets us on our feet. It gets us playing a routine, usually halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I selfishly, when Quaker did the Egyptian, the only reason I was kind of hoping we won is because I really wanted to hear the 95 Egyptian thing, but didn't happen. But
we talked about it, but that's okay.
Now, going from Serenade and then the parades that you do throughout the year, do you feel like you kind of grew into that captain role, just at least presenting your band in front of people more so?
Yeah, a big struggle I had at the beginning was we don't always have a drill master with our band, which is fine. I mean, it looks great when Quaker City has one, or a giant big band is led by a drill master. It looks great, it's professional and efficient. But I didn't have that every parade. So just learning I have to tell them when to start and stop, or they're going to start, deciding for themselves. And it's too many minds. It's not smooth. So that was a big one. Learning how to strut was a big one. But I've really just moved into a position where when a parade's coming up, I'm excited. I'm proud of the band behind me, and I'm proud to dance. So that was the role I had to grow into, but I'm really, really happy of where it's at.
Yeah, one thing I think is cool was I watch, I'm a nerd, I watch all the videos, right? And you definitely have a unique style, for sure, when you're out there. And I think it's neat. Maybe you never thought about this before, but hey, something to think about. I think people from, your age up to mine, I'm a little bit older than you, watch Bob Shannon, and they watch, Bill Bowen, and they watch even, either Phil Rotundo or Spezial, right? There might be like really young kids now that think what you do is how to be captain, and that's pretty cool to think about, even as a young guy yourself. There might be younger people that are like, what, I want to do that as captain,
Maybe, yeah.
I'd see the Kade style.
I don't ever imagine there are that many eyes on me, honestly, but maybe. I mean, I hope they do look to it as a new way of strutting. I'm just trying to keep it entertaining, keep it changing, I never want them to know what's coming. So
and that's what the people love anyway. They just want to see somebody look like they're having fun.
Yeah. And honestly, I always am. Like, people always comment, "Oh, looks like the captain's having so much fun." Looks like, I just love it. It's such a pleasure to be out front of the band. And I think that's a big part of it. I'm not faking a smile. I'm just loving dancing in front of Uptown String Band. So I think that pays off.
For sure. You were going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, now, kind of going back into your earlier years in the band, being in the bass section, I know you guys have more of a localized part where you come up forward and everything. Were you shyer as a kid because maybe you didn't have to be as up front? But I don't know, I'm just curious.
I don't think I was ever really a shy kid. Even when I was a bass player, we would have jam sessions and stuff. I'd hop in there and I'd be try to rock out. And when I get my chance to come up front, I would try not to hold back with the showmanship at all. Some themes give it more than others, but like our 20s year was a great year, a great bass section. And that was, the basses were dancing that year. We were flipping them around and stuff. So I wouldn't say I was ever a shy kid. I would say I just was a outgoing kid that ended up on bass and,
Gotcha.
Got to move up.
Now for I'm sure there's a lot of, there's so many young people in string band and in comics, wenches, fancy. So what advice would you give, particularly to, say, more shy kid in string band, on how to get involved or how to kind of break out of their shell?
Just make friends with the people you have around you. You gotta be comfortable with who's in your band, no matter who they are, what age they are. It's one amazing thing about string bands is everybody can be involved and be a part. And your family can be endless and have all types of people. So if you're shy and reserved, I think it's actually a good hobby to get into, because if you're shy, you can sit down, you can nail your music, and people are gonna love you. And just over time, you'll make friends. Get out of your shell a little bit, and you can't be afraid to get out of your shell. I shook my butt last year, on New Year's, and sometimes you can't be afraid of that stuff,
Yeah.
especially in this hobby.
Now, I got something I'm curious about. So, beginning of your show this year, the candy theme, you had the candy shop, the prop, the wall in the beginning. So you were up on the staircase kind of behind that. So I'm just curious, you're getting in the judging area, you're setting up the prop, as you know, everything always comes in or it's all closed off. So really, the show already started, it opens up, and it's go time for you. Like, do you even have a second in that moment to be like, I'm the guy, I'm the captain, or are you just locked in? Like, what's that moment right before move number one? What's going through your head?
Yeah, it was a magical moment. I definitely locked in on a couple of run-throughs before, and I felt great about what we had going on. I felt good about what I had going on, so I actually can remember that moment very specifically, because I had to crouch a little bit to not be seen.
Sure.
And there was a little crack that I could see the movement in the lights, and I was like, oh man. And then bang, that whistle and that dings, and it's over. So
yeah.
Do you feel because you had like the really dark like facial hair going, it completely looked different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that helps you kind of feel more into your role?
Totally, yeah. Big part of getting into character for me was the makeup and the hair. And I have long hair right now, but my whole life I've either had a buzzed head or something short. I hate hair in my face. I hate it. It's hot. It's a lot. I don't like the hair. But getting close to the show, we knew what my hair was going to look like, and so I started growing it out. And people were like, "Why don't you just wear a wig? Why don't you just wear a wig?" Because it's all or nothing. So I grew it out, and I actually do think that was a big part of getting into character. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I agree with you. I even just from experience, I think when you have a mask on or you're a character or something, you just feel like, I don't know, not that I ever really feel goofy, because I'm not that shy either, but like it just feels like you're that whatever you
You're
are.
one
You know what I mean?
with
It really does, yeah.
Nobody else. It wasn't Kade Radcliffe putting on a show. It was whatever that was.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp kind of, I guess.
Did you have a moment, no matter how quick, like right before you went in the judges, to connect with your dad real quick? Did he give you any like last minute pep or whatever?
Over the past couple of years, I've tried to honestly see every single person in the band before we go up. I do the same thing after every parade. I try to give every single person in the band a fist bump. Actually, like, they make fun of me for it now. They're like, "Oh, I want a fist bump." Like, yeah. I tried to connect with everybody, but I'm sure we had a moment. I had a couple moments before him. Me and Scott Moyer had a moment before, because he helped me out with my kind of fixing my suit so it would work for the show. So
Looking forward to this year. Your theme's Coney Island. You don't see this that often, I would say. So where did this theme come from? What led to it being picked?
We were kind of unsure of which direction we were going to go this year with theme. Like last year, Candy, we kind of knew before the end of Safari. In my opinion, I think we knew we were going to go that direction pretty much. But yeah, up to voting on the theme this year, we really didn't know. Our publicity director, Nick Franks, he pitched it, and it kind of got like mixed in with the others, and then I don't know, it just made its way up. And I honestly wasn't a huge fan of it when we picked it. I wanted something else, but the more we put into the show, the more fun it gets. and I like it. I like where it's going now.
That's awesome.
I don't know everything about Coney Island.
Mhm.
I've learned more this year than the other
Well, we're
years.
gonna
Well,
we're
there you
gonna
go.
test that out
But,
later.
Don't test it too hard.
Now, you said you're involved in the creative aspect to some degree still. How is your role as captain with that and with this theme?
Well, last year, being captain, I kind of felt like I had to take a bigger role in the creative process. So I started speaking up more in meetings and pitching my ideas. If I don't like something, I'll say it. And just in general, like I try to put more time into everything. So like, there's a couple specialty suits that got to get done. I try to take those on. I try to be at the we call it the tent where we build our props. I try to be at the tent a lot. I just try to put my time and my mind into everything creatively, and not that I make it into everything. I mean, we have such a big team that gets everything done. I'm just a small piece, but I try to be a big part creatively as much as I can. I don't overstep because sometimes I really don't know, and I don't want to be that guy. But being captain, I try to have a role a little more.
Yeah,
more ideas.
I can kind of imagine. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can kind of imagine like maybe as captain and somebody that's on the theme committee, that if somebody brings up an idea for the captain that you're like, I don't really think that's that good. Like, do you feel awkward saying that because like, you don't want them to think like you just don't want to do that? Or
you know what? Maybe in years past, if I was captain and had to say something like that, I would have felt awkward. But this theme committee is just so. We just connect so well. We work really well together. A little fun fact is like we have these theme meetings in the beginning of the year. We have too many at one point to keep this tradition up, but we'll bring a bunch of bottles of bourbon to a theme meeting, and then it's like, oh, who brought the bourbon tonight? Who brought the bourbon tonight? So we have a lot of fun, and it's lighthearted. And there was actually a moment I had missed a couple meetings this year, and then I missed 2 or 3, and then I came in. And they were talking about an idea that they had already been developing over the past couple weeks. And I was like, listen, guys, this is just something as captain. And it was involving the captain. I was like, I think this is not going to work. I don't think it's the direction to go. I don't think it's good for me or for the band or whatever. And I was like, I know I've missed. So if you guys disagree, I'm not offended. And then Ron Moyer, our theme chairman, he was like, listen, to anybody in this room, if you're missing meetings, if you don't make everything, still always speak your opinion. You know, we're not going to get offended. You speak your opinion. It's what we're here to do. So it's not awkward at all. And unless I feel very strongly about something, I really don't push it too hard. Mm-hmm. So with our committee and everything, not an awkward thing to get to.
Perfect. That's a good vibe to have. You have to have that comfortability with each other when you're putting together something creative. You know how opinions can get.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, we said back on our first episode, I don't know if you heard it, but on the first one, we were very intrigued and excited for Uptown. So I still am. I'm still very excited. I don't want to jinx it, but I have an idea of where I think you guys should be and where I hope you are. I won't say it just so I don't, I'm not going to be the GOAT when it, I won't say it, but I'll text you after New Year's Day and say I was right. But before we wrap up, we mentioned it, a lot of prep and planning and creativity and research goes into every theme every year. And this year being something different, I'm sure you looked into a little bit of Coney Island stuff. So we put together a little bit of Coney Island trivia to see how much research Kade Radcliffe did for this theme. So
every answer is Nathan's hot dog.
So don't get too nervous because it's all multiple choice. So you can't think of anything out of your mind. We got options or true or false. So you're good to go. And it sounds like you might have one already. Okay. So let's see. It has to be one of them. We'll see. So why don't you kick off the first one here for them?
Sure. So we'll start easy. What state is Coney Island in? New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, or Massachusetts?
New York.
Perfect. Haley got that one wrong.
I did. I'm lying. It was not that easy for me.
Right. All right. So true or false for the second one? Coney Island once had an elephant-shaped hotel.
True.
That is true, actually. I was surprised when I looked that one up, but that is true.
That's too specific.
Yeah.
True.
All right. So for the next one, don't even give them the options. That's your hint.
What famous hot dog stand is from Coney Island?
Hot dogs.
Absolutely, and I'm sure the hot dog eating contest, right? Everybody knows that. All right, so this one I'd never heard this ever, but let's see if you get it. What type of ride did Coney Island have first in the USA? That means in the United States, Coney Island's theme park area was the first anywhere to have this type of ride. Tilt-a-whirl, Ferris wheel, roller coaster, or bumper cars?
Ferris wheel?
No. No, one more guess.
No, that's not even. I got a 50-50 chance. I don't know. The tilt-a-whirl?
Roller coaster, actually. I was really surprised about that.
Surprised.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Good for them.
So, okay. So the Mummers Parade is famous in Philly, but what popular parade takes place on Coney Island? The Mermaid Parade?
Mermaid Parade.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Is that giving anything away?
We won't say. We won't
That
say
was too
anything.
quick. No,
I'm
just
just
kidding.
well researched.
That's awesome.
So I'm really excited for this theme. This is one of the themes I was most excited for when we first did our opening episode. So I'm excited to see where it goes. But to wrap it up, how would you describe this theme for you guys and your 2025 performance in 3 words?
Pivotal. Colorful? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's good, actually.
And fun. Yeah, it's going to be a fun, colorful, and pivotal year for Uptown.
I like
All right,
it.
hey.
All right. Well, I'm excited for it. You sound excited for it. So I actually am really looking forward to this. I love the kind of themes of like that, like the carnival-y kind of Coney Island thing. And I love the time period that it could possibly take place in. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a fun theme. I've heard a little bit of talks about, we did Twisted Candy last year. I've heard a little bit talks about, kind of like creepy sideshow sort of theme. And this is going to be a fun, bright, exciting, entertaining, little Americana sort of theme. So
I like
there's a lot
that.
to be excited about.
Because actually, that was one of the takes I had questioned in our first episode. I was like, this could go creepy or something really fast. So I'm actually excited that you're moving away from the twisted kind of theme for this year, just to see kind of your take on it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that's all you're getting. Watch the parade or go to it. That's it. That's all you're getting out of them. But thanks for coming down. Like I said, I know it's a really hard time of year to take time out of your schedule to get down here and all that kind of stuff.
Always got time for mummers.
That's awesome.
Don't tell my girlfriend.
So we appreciate it. If I don't see you, good luck. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Good luck. Happy holidays and everything.
Ho, ho, ho!
Well, thanks to Kade again for coming out. It was a great conversation, and we are really looking forward, as we said in like our first episode, that we are really looking forward to what Uptown has and what Woodland has and what South Philly has and what all the other string bands have, because I mean we're in the thick of it, as a mum freak. It's like the time, so we're ready to go. So before we wrap up, as always, follow the show on Spotify, Apple, iHeart. Follow Mum Nation on Facebook. If you have any ideas for future episodes or you want to be a sponsor, reach out to any 3 of us. We'll get you hooked up. Don't forget to support the Mummers Museum and answer all of our polls, questions, turn on alerts and all that kind of stuff to just get your word on the street fix, because we're in the thick of it. And if you haven't watched any of the other episodes, we'll go back and watch them all, because you got to get that mum tape and the podcast fix on. So Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll see you at the parade. Definitely get out to the parade, go in the convention center, go out on the street, have a whole day of mums, and watch the tapes for the whole week afterwards, like we're all going to do. So Merry Christmas. Thanks to Woodland, and we'll see you next time.